Welcome to the Maxcast Plus Total Contact Casting System training video. Traditional total contact casting made easy. The Maxcast Plus system is a universal total contact casting system that contains all of the components required for a complete total contact cast application. Prior to the cast application, please review the instruction sheet and the patient information sheet. The patient is now ready to prep. First, take the stockinette and roll up the leg till just over the knee, leaving 2 to 3 inches hanging over the toes, making sure that there are no bumps or wrinkles on the plantar surface. Next, we apply the self-adhesive toe foam. Remove the back of the foam and align the long edge with the sulcus of the foot, folding over the toes, squeezing at the edges to create dog ears. Take scissors, follow in the shape of the foot, and remove the excess foam. Next, we apply our lateral and medial strips, measuring from the base of the malleolus, about 3 fingers below the patella, slightly angling inward towards the anterior tibia. Cut the strip, remove the self-adhesive backing, and apply. Take the excess strip and apply over the tibial crest, creating a bridge. Repeat on the opposing side of the leg, measuring from the bottom of the malleolus to the proximal edge of the tibial crest bridge. After applying the strip, utilize the excess felt to line the tibial crest for additional protection. Next, take the self-adhesive hourglass shape talus pad and center at the anterior bend over the talus. The pad is slotted to contour with the patient's foot. Next, we apply our malleoli strips. Measure from the edge of the foam to the back and bottom edge of your lateral and medial strips. Cut to size, remove the backing and apply. Utilize the excess felt to line the tibial crest. Repeat on the opposing side of the foot, applying the malleoli strip, and again taking the excess felt to align the tibial crest. The patient is now ready for casting. Place the patient in prone position. Start by wetting and applying the first roll of plaster. Begin at the base of the toes, over the toe foam, and overlapping by approximately 3/4 of an inch. The plaster is the basis for intimate contact with the cast, so it is important that you cover at least the foot and the ankle to just the base of the shin area. Take any excess plaster and continue to roll proximally up the leg. Once the plaster is applied, make sure that you smoothen out any bumps or wrinkles, especially on the plantar surface, as this can create pressure points. Next we start with our first roll of fiberglass. Start in the same line as the plaster, overlapping one full rotation, and then overlapping by approximately 1/3 of the roll. Continue to roll proximally up the leg until all the cast material has been utilized. Roll right to the edge of the felt, leaving the very edge exposed. Continue to roll back down the leg towards the calf until completely utilized. Briefly smoothen. Now for the prefabricated posterior splint. The posterior splint is very important as it is the strength of the cast supporting the foot and the ankle. Our unique system allows our cast to accommodate all size patients. Align the splint with the proximal posterior edge of the cast distally up the leg over the plantar surface overhanging at the toes. Utilize the excess stockinette to create a collar. Do not wet the splint as it pulls its moisture from the previous layers of material, which allows it to better contour to the patient's foot and ankle. Next we apply the patented rocker walker. There's a back to front orientation. Apply with the front of the back pad in alignment with the anterior tibia. You can utilize excess splint material building up the heel to accommodate for various deformities such as valgus, varus, and equinus. Take and wet the last roll of fiberglass tape. Begin mid-foot at either the styloid process or the medial cuneiform. Roll from the midfoot around the toes, back to the heel, and around again. As the fiberglass overlaps, pin the two layers, rolling under the dorsum of the foot, pulling the excess splint to the dorsum of the foot, overlap twice, catching the front of the walker heel. On the next rotation, spin the fiberglass 3 times, creating a rope. Pull between the bridge of the walker and then around the back to lock the walker in place. Continue to roll the fiberglass material proximally up the leg to the edge of the cast. Quickly smoothing the cast. Next, take the self-adherent dressing and secure the loose end of the fiberglass. This allows the clinician to move on to other patients while the cast cures and protects the opposing leg from scratches and abrasions. The patient can now roll over, being careful to not bump the cast. Allow 10 to 12 minutes for the cast to cure before the patient ambulates. Cast removal. Mark the outer edges of the proximal end of the lateral and medial strips. Then we will mark a line down the center of the strips to the center of the malleolus and then over to the edge of the toe foam. Scribe a line over the distal toe area. Now we cut the cast from the proximal end of the center of the lateral and medial strips to the center of the malleolus. There's a prominent bump where the malleoli strips and the lateral strips overlap. Then cut distally from the center of the malleolus to the edge of the toe foam. Repeat on the opposing side of the leg and foot. Then make a very shallow cut over the toes, being careful to not cut too deep. The cast is now ready for removal. Take scissors and relieve the stockinette at the proximal end of the cast in alignment with the cuts. Support the patient's foot, grab the cast at the proximal end in the center, and pull towards you. This may require cast spreaders to assist in loosening the cast. Continue to cut the stockinette as you pull the cast towards you and remove the center. Gently spread at the proximal end of the cast and slide off the patient's foot. Maxcast Plus, the gold standard, just got better.